It's 3 a.m. You're jolted awake by a sound you've never heard, a low siren or the metallic scent of industrial smoke. Your phone has no signal, but the emergency alert is clear. Evacuate immediately. You have 15 minutes. At this moment, the bag in your closet is no longer a hobby. It's your primary life support system. As you grab it, you have to wonder, is this gear actually going to work, or is it just cheap plastic from a digital marketplace? Most people treat a bug-out bag like a collection of gadgets. In my 10 years of experience, I've learned it's actually a rigorous exercise in systems engineering. We're building a mobile architecture designed to maintain your physiological stasis, keeping your temperature steady and your brain hydrated. Today, we're building a professional 72-hour kit using only Amazon. We're filtering out the junk to focus on Hygiene materials and weight-to-utility ratios. This isn't fear-mongering. It's about being an asset to your family instead of a liability to rescue teams. The most foundational decision you will make is the chassis, the backpack. This is the platform that holds every other subsystem. If the bag fails, you lose everything. Most people look at a backpack and see pockets. I look at a backpack and see load displacement and material science. The industry standard, and the one I recommend for a 72-hour mission profile, is the 5.11 Tactical Rush 72-2. Now, why this bag specifically? It comes down to material selection. This bag is built from 1050D nylon. Most budget bags use 600D polyester. That difference sounds small, but in the real world, 1050D offers a massive increase in abrasion resistance. If you're sliding down a concrete embankment or pushing through thick briars, 600D will shred like paper. The Rush 72 doesn't. Beyond the fabric, look at the organization. It has 16 distinct compartments, but the one most people overlook is the stash expansion area. This is a space between the main compartment and the front pocket where you can rapidly shove a bulky jacket or an extra medical kit without unzipping the whole bag. This is critical when you're forced to move fast. However, there's a trade-off. Weight: the Rush 72 is heavy because it's overbuilt. If you're smaller in stature or need to move long distances on foot, you might look at something like the Mystery Ranch 2-Day Assault Pack. It uses 500D Cordura, lighter but still incredibly tough, and it has that famous 3-zip design. This allows you to unzip the entire face of the bag and reach gear at the very bottom without dumping your entire life onto the mud. For the ultralight crowd, there's the Venture Pal, but I want to be clear. That 60D nylon is thin. It's a budget emergency option, but it won't survive a week in the woods. Choose your chassis based on your physical ability and the terrain you'll be crossing. If your bag doesn't have a yoke-style shoulder strap to distribute weight across your trapezius muscles, you're going to be in a world of hurt by mile 5. Once the chassis is set, we have to address the most immediate threat to your survival: hydration. FEMA tells us we need a gallon of water per person per day. For a 72-hour window, that's 25 pounds of water. You cannot stay mobile carrying that much weight. This is where most beginners make a fatal mistake. They pack a few plastic bottles and hope for the best. A professional survival system transitions from static storage to active filtration. You carry a small amount of water, and you carry the tools to make more. The Sawyer Squeeze is the gadget that changed the game. It uses a 0.1 micron absolute hollow fiber membrane. It removes 99.9% of bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli. What I love about the Squeeze is its versatility. You can use it as a gravity-fed system at camp, or you can screw it directly onto a standard water bottle and drink while you walk. But here is the insider tip. Hollow fiber filters like the Sawyer cannot remove viruses or heavy metals. If you are in an urban environment where the water might be contaminated by sewage or industrial runoff, the Sawyer isn't enough. In that scenario, you need the Grail Ultra Press. It's an electroadsorptive purifier. You fill the outer shell, press the filter down like a French press, and it strips out 99.99% of viruses and chemicals. It's heavier and the cartridges have a shorter lifespan, but if you're scooping water out of a city fountain or a stagnant pond, it's the only gadget I trust. I always include a 48 Oz stainless steel bottle, like the ones from Uncharted. Why? Because gadgets can break. Mechanical filters can freeze and crack, but a stainless steel bottle allows you to boil water. Boiling is still the definitive method of purification. Always have a plan B that doesn't rely on a membrane. Now let's talk about fueling the engine. In a 72-hour window, we aren't worried about long-term nutrition or organic ingredients. We are worried about caloric density and what I call actionable energy. You want food that is non-thirst provoking. If you pack high-sodium beef jerky or high-protein bars, your body will demand more water to digest them. In a survival situation, that's a metabolic tax you can't afford to pay. This is why I recommend Millennium Energy Bars or SOS Food Labs rations. These are basically baked shortbread blocks engineered to give you 400 calories per bar without making you thirsty. The Millennium bars are great because they come in flavors like blueberry and lemon. It sounds trivial, but appetite fatigue is real. When you're under extreme stress, your stomach shuts down. Having something palatable helps maintain your cognitive function. For those who need to move constantly, I suggest survival tabs. These aren't meals, they're high-calorie chewables you can eat while walking. It's about keeping your blood sugar stable so you don't make a low-sugar mistake that leads to an injury. Shelter is the next subsystem, and this is where I see the most dangerous gear choices. Almost everyone throws a $2 Mylar space blanket in their bag and thinks they're protected. This is where mistakes happen. Those blankets reflect heat, yes, but they also trap 100% of your body's moisture. Within an hour, your clothes will be damp with sweat and condensation. Once you stop moving, that moisture will pull the heat away from your body through conduction, and you'll end up colder than if you had no blanket at all. Upgrade to the Soul Escape Bivi. It's a breathable, heat-reflective material. It lets the moisture out while keeping 70% of your body heat in. It's the difference between a miserable, wet night and a restorative sleep. If you're in a truly cold environment, look at the Blizzard bag. It uses reflex cell technology, which is essentially a triple-layered, elasticated blanket that creates air pockets for insulation. It's bulky, but it's a lifesaver in sub-zero temps. For fire, don't rely on a single cheap lighter. I use Exotac lighters because they have waterproof seals and high-output ferrocerium rods. You want a tool that can ignite tinder at 3,000 degrees, even if it's been submerged in a river. We also integrate the BioLite Camp Stove 2 Plus here. It's a gadget that burns sticks to cook your food. It's the ultimate synergy of primitive survival and modern tech. Let's pivot to the information intelligence system. In a crisis, the person with the most information usually makes the fewest mistakes. You need a way to hear what's happening. The Midland ER310 is the gadget I recommend most often. It's a NOAA weather radio that can be powered 4 ways. Internal lithium battery, AA batteries, a hand crank, or a solar panel. It even has an ultrasonic dog whistle to help search and rescue teams find you if you're incapacitated. However, if you want pure power, the Givost emergency radio has an 8,000 mAh battery. That's enough to charge your phone twice and still run the radio for days. One expert tip: perform the Eneloop mod on your emergency radio. Replace the cheap internal battery with high-capacity Panasonic Eneloops. This allows you to use the radio's solar and crank systems to maintain a supply of standard AA batteries for your other gear. For two-way communication, if the cell towers are down, you're usually out of luck, unless you have something like the Garmin InReach Mini 2. This operates on the Iridium satellite network. It allows you to send text messages and SOS signals from anywhere on Earth. It's expensive, and it requires a subscription, but it is the single most effective get-out-of-jail-free card in the survival world. If you're tech-savvy, a Baofeng UV5R Pro is a great way to monitor local emergency frequencies. But please, get your technician's license and learn how to use it before you need it. Building on that, we have to talk about the energy ecosystem. Modern survival is fundamentally dependent on USB rechargeable gear. Your headlamp, your GPS, and your radio all need juice. Most people buy those power banks with a tiny solar panel on the back. Those are almost useless. It would take 100 hours of direct sun to charge that battery. Instead, get a dedicated panel like the Big Blue 28W solar charger. It's foldable, efficient, and can actually charge a phone in about 4 hours of good sunlight. Pair that with a ruggedized power bank like the Nestout 15,000 mAh battery. Consumer power banks are made of thin plastic. They'll crack if you drop them on a rock. The Nestout is built like a tank, a 67 rated, shockproof, and waterproof. It's designed for the mechanical stress of an evacuation. Illumination is often treated as an afterthought, but it's a vital security and navigation tool. I follow a 2-is-1, 1-is-none rule here. You need a powerful handheld light and a hands-free headlamp. The Fenix PD-36R Pro is the premier tactical flashlight on Amazon right now. 28 lumens and a beam throw of over 1,200 feet. That's not just for seeing. That's for identifying threats at a distance. For your headlamp, the Black Diamond Spot 400R is my pick. It's rugged, and most importantly, it has a red light mode. In a survival situation, you want to preserve your night vision and keep a low visual signature. Walking through the woods with a 400-lumen white light makes you a beacon for everyone within 5 miles. Use the red light. Now we have to talk about the part everyone skips, the medical kit. Most store-bought kits are full of plastic tweezers and tiny bandages. That's not a survival kit, that's a boo-boo kit. In a 72-hour window, you need critical intervention gear. You are looking for items that stop dead-in-minutes injuries. I recommend the MyMedic MyFAK Mini Pro. It's organized into MODS, which is a systems engineering approach to medicine. If someone is bleeding, you grab the red bleeding MOD. If someone has a burn, you grab the yellow burn MOD. This prevents you from rifling through a bag and wasting time while someone is in shock. The Pro version includes a RATS tourniquet, quick clot hemostatic gauze, and chest seals. If you're in a situation with broken glass, falling debris, or civil unrest, these are the items that keep you alive until you reach a surgeon. If you aren't trained to use a tourniquet, get the training. The gear is only half the battle. For mechanical utility, your multi-tool is your primary interface with the world. You're using it to fix your bag, prep fire tinder, or even perform emergency gear repairs. The Leatherman Wave Plus is the industry standard for a reason. It's built like a tank. But if you want something optimized for survival, look at the Leatherman Signal. It actually has a ferrocerium rod and a sharpener built into the handle. If you want the absolute best steel money can buy, the Leatherman Arc uses MagnaCut steel, which won't rust and stays sharp forever. Don't forget the heavy lifting tools. A Sahara Sailor survival axe or a folding shovel can be the difference between a cold night and a warm shelter. And for your pocket, a Gerber Impromptu Tactical Pen. It uses Write in the Rain ink so you can write notes in a storm, and it has an integrated glass breaker. It's a tool that does 3 jobs and takes up no space. Now, we have hygiene and signaling. Sanitation failure is one of the biggest killers in post-disaster scenarios. If you can't stay clean, you get infections or dysentery. I use Porta-Wipes. These are compressed bamboo tablets the size of a nickel. Add a drop of water, and they expand into a durable, biodegradable wipe. They weigh nothing and are far more efficient than carrying heavy wet wipes. For signaling, don't rely solely on electronics. A signal mirror like the MIL M18371E is a battery-free gadget that can be seen from 100 miles away. If you use the V-finger sighting technique, holding your fingers in a V, sighting the rescue plane through the V, and reflecting the sun across your knuckles, you can signal a pilot with incredible accuracy. And for the Black Swan, events, urban industrial disasters, or smoke, I include a Myra safety gas mask with NB-C-77 SOF filters. It's extreme, I know, but if you're trying to evacuate a city during a wildfire or a chemical leak, that mask is the only thing that will allow you to keep breathing while you walk. Building this setup isn't about buying a ready-to-go kit. It's about understanding how your gear works together to protect your water, your body, and your life. While you can find great tools online, you must test them. Don't let a crisis be the first time you use your equipment. The goal is to replace panic with survival logic. It's much better to have your gear ready now than to be waiting on a delivery when time runs out. If you had 10 minutes to leave, what one item do you trust completely? What still worries you? Let's talk in the comments. Check the description for links to the exact specs and subscribe for more logic-based tips.